There's a scene from the first Sex and the City movie that has always resonated with me for a couple of reasons. At a certain point in the film, Samantha Jones, played by Kim Cattrall, is sitting in the sand of her wonderful private beach in Malibu with her little dog, enjoying a beach day and reading a book called The Secret. The Secret was all the rage about a decade ago. It's a self-help book talking about how what you put into the universe is what you'll get back from it, and that the key to life is the power of positive thinking. Well, at a certain point in the scene, Samantha takes the book and flings it over her shoulder.
Turns out, New Age philosophy wasn't the secret.
Indicating that she thinks the book is absolute crap, and I'm inclined to agree. Hi, I'm Linda. This is Linda's World. This is Self-Care Sundays, and I'm about to tell you how the power of positive thinking is slowly but surely ruining your mental health. Why would an inspirational channel be telling you such things? Well, I guess you're about to find out, because this Self-Care Sundays starts right now. The law of attraction, the power of positive thinking, manifesting, whatever you want to call it, it can actually do more harm than good to some people, and that's what we're going to dive into this evening in Self-Care Sundays. Now, before we do, because this topic is a bit on the heavy side, I would like to say a couple of words, if I may, before we begin. First thing, I am not a mental health professional, nor do I pretend to be one on this channel. I'm a mental health patient, actually, a person with 4 specific diagnosed mental disorders that I have sought professional help for and take daily medication for, as I have for a number of years. I'm also a student of psychology. I'm a person who spent, at this point, about 30 years studying psychology, first as a student with interest in it academically, then as a person who wanted to get a handle on my own disorders, and finally as a part of the mental health awareness community who wanted to educate people on how to deal with people like me. The second thing I'd like to say before we start is that if you're watching this video and you find that you need more mental health guidance than Linda's World can provide, well, I'd be more than happy to pop some links down below in the description that will help you to sort out whatever needs sorting out in your life. Finally, I'd like to say that if you're just finding this video by chance and you're not yet a member of Linda's World, well, I invite you to become one by joining Linda's World with a subscribe button. Hit it right down below. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the notification bell too, so you don't miss out on future videos when I post. Linda's World is an inspirational channel, a place to come to get the tools you need to live your best life, even when you're not exactly living your best life. I'm a champion at that. And so, seeing as how we're talking about living our best lives, why don't we talk about the power of positivity and how it could be ruining your mental health. Now, in its simplest form, the law of attraction, well, there's nothing wrong with it. It basically says that if you put positivity and good vibes out into the world and think positive thoughts, then good things will befall you. And conversely, if you put negative thoughts into the world, then negativity will befall you. Kind of makes sense, right? There's the simplest explanation, or example I should say, that I can give would be 2 guys sitting in a waiting room for a job interview. Person A thinks that he is going to screw it up and that he's underqualified and his resume sucks and this guy isn't going to hire him. Person B thinks that he's kick-ass and that his resume is awesome and that he's going to ace this interview and get the job. They both go in for their interview, and the law of attraction states that B will get the job because he willed it to be so. He manifested it, if you will. Okay? Now, manifesting is a word that I've seen all over the internet for quite some time now, and there's kind of nothing wrong with it. You know, I saw Nikki DiMartino's video about putting up a mood board at the beginning of 2020, and she manifested, or wanted to manifest, all the good things she wanted to happen in her life. She put up pictures of people's fashion that she found to be cool. She put up pictures of musical things, a place or 2 in Los Angeles that she wanted to live in, or a place like that, you know. And she basically collaged it and put it up and thought that it would be a good reminder to live her best life. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've collaged myself. But the danger in this, and this is what I want to be clear on, is not trying to be positive. The danger is not positive vibes. The danger is positive vibes in exclusivity. Okay? When you feel as though you must only put out positive. And it's dangerous for 3 specific reasons that I'd like to get into in this video. Okay? Now, the first reason why it's dangerous to your mental health is the good old-fashioned getting your hopes up thing. Okay? If a person puts positivity out into the world because, or thinks positive thoughts and wakes up smiling and says all good things come to those who wait, and if you build it they will come, and all that stuff, all the rhetoric that we've taken from the internet over the years, and they go about this and do this, then what's going to happen is they're going to set their sights really high. They're going to think, well, I was positive, I did good, I was good, so I should get only good. Okay, that this experience will work out because I willed it to be so. I have the power, right? And that is a person setting themselves up for a ginormous fall. Okay, because if you walk out there thinking that you're expecting a 10 and you get a 2, you're going to be sorely disappointed. There's certain things in life that you can't positive think your way out of. For example, if I walk out into the world and I'm having a nice day and I like my outfit and I like my hair and it's Friday and whatever, and I'm just having a good day, and then I get hit by a bus, okay, I did not will that to be so. I did not negative think it into fruition. It just happened to me. It's like what they call an act of God, okay, like an earthquake or an avalanche or something like that. And so if I walk out there positive thinking and putting out only positive vibes, which by the way is a tremendous amount of pressure, then I will be so disappointed when bad things happen to me, more so than the person who thinks realistically or even negatively, because I will be like, well, what do you mean it didn't work out? I thought it, I manifested it, shouldn't it be so? And that huge fall, that huge crash to the ground is going to be really painful because I didn't prepare for the eventual worst that could actually happen. I've seen it in movies before, and I've also seen it in real life, of course, when a doctor, when there's a situation with a patient might not, where there might be a grave illness, that may in fact be fatal, the doctor would say, or like a surgery or whatever, the doctor would say, well, what I want you to do is expect the worst and hope for the best. Okay. Now, it's important that the doctor put that expect the worst in there, because if the patient and the patient's family only expected the best because they were manifesting it and sending good vibes, then they would be in for an awful fall when the situation didn't turn out. Do you know what I mean? And by that I don't mean to belittle like the patient's illness or death or whatever. I'm not saying that you can like manifest away cancer or something. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just using it for an example of the fact that that doctor and his advice of expect the worst and hope for the best, don't limit yourself to thinking that just in terms of medicine. Think about that in terms of life. When you go into any situation, you need that what if the worst happens thing, okay? Because if you only manifest good vibes and whatever, then you are really going to, well, you're going to walk away with grave disappointment. And nobody wants that because, well, I don't know. I don't like disappointment, do you? I know. Okay, so I think we should move on to the second one. Now, the second one is the fact that this power of positive thinking and manifesting good vibes and whatever, it's sort of, how can I put this without sounding callous? It devalues the concept of good work and hard work and an ethic. Okay. Now, I was raised to believe, I think maybe you should know a little background about me. First of all, I am Irish and I am Norwegian. So I'm a Scandinavian person, right? Halfway at least. And so the Scandinavian people, and I'm not from Norway, I've never been to Norway, I don't speak Norwegian, I was raised in America, but there's ingrained in the Nordic people is this thing about like first you eat your broccoli and then you get your cake. You like toil the earth until you're done working and then enjoy the fruits of your labor. That you don't eat dessert first, you know what I mean? And so that's ingrained in me. So I may be coming out that take what I say with a little grain of salt in terms of work, because I value hard work. I just do. I've been working since I'm 12. I don't know any other way to be, right? But on the other side of the spectrum are people who don't work at all, and most humans fall in the middle. Now, hard work and having a work ethic, and I don't just mean that in terms of going to your job. I mean in getting done whatever it is you want to get done. That's the way things happen. Like I can't imagine, for example, it's a silly example, but like my floor is dirty right now. I need to mop it, right? And so, like, later on, like tomorrow, whatever, I'm going to mop my floor. I'm not going to sit in my bedroom in the chair and manifest a clean floor. I have to clean it. I have to get out the mop and the Mr. Clean and the bucket and the water, and I have to do it, okay? And it's not going to manifest itself clean. So, like, people who truly embrace this power of positive thinking manifestation, people who really embrace it, like hardcore, are really, it's easy to lose sight of the fact that it is what you do, not what you think, but what you physically do, that will lead you down the road to success. Dr. Phil, who I can take and leave, I used to like him a hell of a lot more, but I'm off him now. But he said one really cool thing once where he said the difference between a dream and a goal is a timeline. Like I, right now, am walking a fine line between manifesting and working towards a goal that I have, which is retirement. I absolutely detest my city. I've lived in Brooklyn, New York for 43 years. And every day that I've lived here is one day I'll never get back. And so when I retire, I'm moving to Southern California. And in order to do that, I have certain things to do. I have to put in the years of employment at my job. I have to put money away in the account for a teacher's retirement. I have to go on Zillow and look at property and figure out where to live. And, and that's just what to do before I get there. Then, of course, there's the packing of boxes and whatever, right? So I'm not going to manifest California. I'm going to go. Okay. And I have to take the necessary steps. And that's not to say that I'm not sitting on Drillo. Can I talk today? On Zillow. Dream building. Aha, Linda. There you go. And scrolling along, looking at property and thinking it's awesome. Of course I'm doing that. I have a little saved folder of houses that are cool, That's my manifestation. But that's my mood board, but that doesn't mean that I don't still have to do the work. And it's really easy for people to fall into a trap, and maybe you're not like that. Maybe you have a work ethic too that doesn't get in the way. I don't know, because I don't know you. I'm just telling you from my experience. I've seen people fall into the trap of thinking that it's owed to them because they thought it through, not because they went out and did it, Now, the final thing, and this is how it's eating away at your mental health, probably most profoundly, okay? I saved the best for last, or actually the worst for last, if it were, and as it were. And that is the concept of guilt, shame, and fault finding, okay? What do I mean by this? I mean that if you put out good vibes, right? If you will it to be so, if you think positively and blah, blah, and all the rhetoric, right? Then what's going to happen is you will be, you feel responsible. There's a sense like if you think about this, they're telling you have the power, okay? They're saying, hey man, you have the power to make all good things happen up in here, okay? So you go ahead and you manifest your good vibes and you think the positivity up in here, okay? Great. Now, for one reason or another, it doesn't turn out, okay? So now, because you've been told that if you build it, they will come. If you're told in your brain that you've got to make this true, you got to will it to be true, right? Then if it doesn't turn out, it's your fault. Here's the thing, it's not. Okay, that's the way the universe works. But people have an uncanny knack of, it's funny, people fall into one of two camps, and I'm about to describe the other camp to you, which is within the confines of guilt and shame. Which is that you could be one of the people who you thought it through and it didn't come out, and now you feel like it's your fault because you didn't do a good enough job. You didn't manifest it good enough, and it's your fault that you didn't get it, okay? Or you could fall into the other camp, which are the people who manifest it and just let it sit there and didn't do any work for it, and it didn't come to you, and you develop a sense of entitlement. You'd have no guilt or shame. I find it interesting that humans come in one of two forms. People who have an uncanny knack for blaming others for their own misfortune, and people who have an uncanny knack for blaming themselves for everything. I think by now, if you have been watching me for some time now, you have a sense of which camp I fall into. I think you might have a good idea. And that's something that I have to work on in my personal life. But but the thing is, that's not without knowing. Like, I recognize the problem. And with the problem being, issues surrounding guilt and shame and fault finding, you are not responsible for acts of God. You are not You're not the reason why somebody abused you. You're not the reason why the car rear-ended your car and you're in traction. Okay? You're not the reason why your company began laying off employees because of the virus, and now you're sitting at home unemployed and collecting a fraction of your salary from the government that will soon end. You are not the reason why acts of God, as it were, happen to you. But people have an uncanny knack of blaming themselves. And especially think about the pain it would be if you think that you caused it because you were thinking it. You were like, woohoo, it's gonna happen, woohoo, it's gonna happen, and then it didn't happen. Or if you're going out there every day saying good vibes only, and then a whole pile of shit lands in your lap, the opposite of good vibes, right? And you, like, what'd you do? Did you vibe it wrong? No, it's that life is going to happen. Now, I want to put a disclaimer on some of the things that I've said, okay? A couple of things I want to say that don't fall into the 3 categories I just mentioned, but I feel I need to say them. First and foremost, the need for excess positivity in life can be a huge burden on people whose mental health is not all it's cracked up to be. It is absolutely hard to manifest good vibes when you are feeling your absolute worst. I think I've said this before, and I don't know if I've ever said this on this channel, but I know that I've said it interpersonally before, that I think that, I asked people one time, I said, what do you think is the biggest lie ever told? Like the check is in the mail, or I'm 5 minutes away. I said, no. The biggest lie that any human ever told, it's a lie that I say several times daily. Don't worry, it's no problem. Or, don't worry, I'm fine. Okay? These are lies, because we've been trained that how are you is a greeting, not a question. We've been trained that people don't want to know the story, and that people just are in it for what you can give them, and that's the only thing, And so we've been trained to just deal with it and keep on moving, and not to dwell in the past, and not to dwell in our negativity, and not to dwell in our pain and our shame. And that's rough, because somewhere in between wallowing in our pity and get over it happened an hour ago is the truth, And so it's an unparalleled burden to want to put positive vibes out into the world at all times when you're not positive, when you're not thinking the thing's going to work out, when it's physiologically impossible for you to muster up a smile, But we do it, and we say good vibes only, and we hope and pray that our manifestations turn out okay, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And that's where the guilt and the shame and the fault finding and the senses of entitlement and the disappointment lies, and that's incredibly painful. Now, I would also like to say that it's interesting, this positivity thing, because now, mind you, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I am an American citizen. I've left the country many times, and when I return to it, I've always come to note that positivity is, and I don't mean to say that everyone is negative all over the place, but this need for constant validation of positive vibes is a uniquely American construct. I've spent time in France, I've spent time in Israel, I've spent time in Serbia, Montenegro, the Republic of Georgia, and I'm hoping I'm not leaving out of country. And and what I've noticed, and all these countries have had their various perils, some more than others, but the thing that I've noticed in my travels, anytime my passport's been stamped, is that we in America have the luxury of walking around choosing happiness, and of course that's not to say that there aren't millions of Americans who have no way of choosing happiness because they don't have choices at all, and that's a different story. And if you want to know more about that, you can take a look at the video I did about the murder of George Floyd. But I guess what I'm saying in summation here is that it is an unbelievable burden to place upon yourself to think that you spin the earth. Like I've said that in jest before when I was like sick, and someone said, "Oh, take off of work today, you're sick," and I said, "Well, I can't stop moving, I can't stop going to work. Like if I go to bed, who'll spin the earth?" And I say that in jest, but the thing is, it's not entirely comical, now is it? Because I've gotten myself into thinking that if I sit down that the whole world's going to collapse because I'm responsible for spinning at least my portion of the earth. And so with those burdens placed upon us anyway, isn't it awful that we've burdened ourselves with the constant need to do like the Nat King Cole song says, smile though your heart is aching, smile even though it's breaking. That's a burden that no one needs to bear, because we've got enough burdens in humanity. Don't you think? I'm going to stop talking now before I start talking in circles as I usually do. And I'm going to say that there is, of course, some merit to positivity. I specifically chose to wear my Take Care of Your Body crew neck for this video, even though I'm sweltering without the air conditioning in my bedroom. And it says get well soon, and it has butterflies, and it's from Honeymoon & Co., who I love so much. Shout out to Honeymoon & Co. And I wore that because I like to manifest a little positive vibe. I'm not against it. I'm not saying we should all go up to the bridge, but I do, I do this kind of stuff, but and I enjoy a good relaxation moment, and I enjoy a good show and a good meal and what have you. I know how to enjoy myself and have positivity in my life. I love my little dog. I love a day at the beach, but I don't think that if I have a negative thought that negative things will befall me. I know that in reality, the universe unfolds as it should. And you can't control anything that happens in the universe. You can control your reaction to it, and you can control whether or not you temper your negative vibes with the appropriate amounts of positivity when it is genuine. And having said that, I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. I'm anxious to hear your thoughts. Do you think that the law of attraction is something to live by, or do you think that Samantha Jones was right? Do you think that what I'm talking about here has merit, or do you feel as though I'm just being a cranky old lady who didn't get what she wanted in life? Well, I'm anxious to hear your comments. Your comments absolutely matter. They always do. And I really do appreciate you guys when you like and comment my videos, because, well, interaction with other humans, has taken a different form these days. And it's more digital than it's ever been before, especially in these times in 2020. And I really do appreciate the conversation. And I appreciate the fact that I have a platform to begin such conversations. And I welcome all theories, and your theories matter. So pop them down below. And I will see you later in the week with my next video, which is going to be a Q&A. Something that I was going to film last week, but, well, I don't know. I couldn't manifest it. But I'm manifesting it next week, and you're going to see it. So I will see you then, and you have a good time, have a good night, have a good week, have anything positive you want. But just remember that if it's negative sometimes, it's okay. You can be as negative as you want. This is life. It'll turn around.